Good evening. I'll be your news anchor tonight. I am Marcella Fortune for Think News. We will be taking a look into USA Prison's biggest urban business pros and cons. We will be discussing 3 key points. 1. Inmates providing a service. 2. Money being used for prisons instead of higher education. And 3. Private prisons don't make an effort to prevent citizens from entering and welcoming new inmates. From manufacturing internet cables and distributing from South Carolina's Evans Correctional Facility with 1,100 maximum occupancy, assembling electronic cables that are purchased by IBM and Canadian Northern Telecom corporations, uses and sells to several Eastern European countries. Inmates employed by Jostin Inc. at the Lawrence Correctional Facility in South Carolina sews graduation gowns for major universities. Going on to our second key point of state expenditures allocated towards correctional facilities versus expenditures used for higher education. Taking a look back to 1987, states collectively spent $33 billion on higher education versus in 2007, $73 billion, and adjusting for inflation equates to an all-over increase of 21%. Funds spent towards correctional facilities in 1987 were $11 billion to 2007, $44 billion, showing a 121% increase. Taking a look at California's strategies being used to reduce or eliminate budget gaps. For fiscal year 2009, California is cutting higher education and also cutting higher education again for fiscal year 2010. Both years' expenditures for correctional institutions remain intact. Third and last aspect, private prisons welcome and prepare for inmates and not concerned about overcrowding.
We got to get our folks out of these jails, and we got to get these folks in somewhere so they can get some more knowledge and get them out of it. Another thing is, less than 1% of the prisoners are college graduates. So if you give them some education, they don't end up in prison. And it costs you more to keep a prisoner in a jail cell than it do to keep him in college.
Adding to the problem is the 3 strikes law and over-eagerness to put people behind bars. A recent study points out in America, there are currently 2.3 million incarcerated, China incarcerating 1.5 million, with Russia with 891,000 inmates. Taking this all in leads to overcrowding of USA prisons, and turning prisons into a business has led mainstream thinking away from the underlying fact that it is taking away money that could be used to fund institutions of higher education instead of building more facilities to house the already overcrowded prisons, focusing on profits of a business over all else.
Private prisons basically make their money on bodies, on inmates, on people. So they need to be, so for them to have a full prison is good. So it's not about trying to empty out the prison, it's trying to keep it filled. So it creates kind of an environment where you have the end result is incarcerating people. It's not about rehabilitation. It's not about trying to change the face of poverty or eliminate crime. They benefit from crime, so they would just as soon see a steady flow of inmates coming from the larger community.